People pay this guy between $80 and $700 a month to go to their house and pick up their dog's poop. Ryan O'Quinn started his pooper scooper company Bombs Away in 2016 and last year grossed over $300,000. He has 6 employees and 4 trucks and now looking to franchise his business. His story goes to show that you can make a living in the most unconventional ways. Watch this video about how he started his business by solving a problem and how you can too.
My name is Ryan O'Quinn and my company is called Bombs Away, and we've been in business since November of 2016. Kind of started as a joke. Kind of a couple things. I was actually working on another project with a friend of mine. It was a startup, it was an online business, and we were trying to get traction with the business. I had this crazy idea to go scoop dog poop around the neighborhood to make some extra money and just try and keep this thing moving along. And did a little research on the pooper scooper industry, and I found out that there are national franchises and there's a huge industry that exists, and it did back about 6 years ago when I started. So I decided that's where I'm going, and that I built a website, and the rest is history. Startup costs in this business are relatively low. You could get started with $5,000 or less if you're really just bootstrapping low startup costs, just getting into the market, getting into the industry. If you really want to hit the ground running and you want to put some technology and some systems in place, 5 to 10,000, add a vehicle in there, you're probably looking at 10 to 20,000. I would say most of your startup costs are going to be around marketing and just getting the word out there and letting people know you exist. For me, I had a 2004 Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. That was, it was already mine, so I didn't have to buy. I had the perfect vehicle to get right into the business, so I introduced that into the business. Got a rake and a couple tools and a commercial debris dustpan, and I pretty much hit the ground running from there. Fairly quickly, like I said, because I had the truck already. So mostly it was just the, banging my head against the wall, trying different types of advertising methods like direct mail or, Google ads. I would say probably within the first few months, I had, first 3 to 6 months, I probably had already recouped my initial investment and was profitable. I was profitable pretty fast. So the first year, I remember my CPA looking at all my financials. She's like, "This is a really profitable business," and I was like, I'm not really a numbers person when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I think that's a good thing. So we just kept rolling with it, and year after year, it just it kept building off of that. So. That's a good question. Right when I was first starting this business, right after I had about 4, 5, 6 customers that I was servicing, weekly, regularly, I got a cancer diagnosis. And I went in, it just hit me it was out of the blue. I got a cancer diagnosis, went in, long story short, found out that I had stage 3 testicular cancer, and I was to undergo chemotherapy. They had the treatment plan worked out. They told me that you're going to start this right away. I was crushed. I was like, how am I going to operate? How am I going to run this business right now? I'm just starting this. And I took it as at first it took me a while to process, but I looked at it as a blessing in disguise because I went through the treatment then, and it allowed me to just come out on the other end, and I beat the cancer basically. I did the treatment. It was a 3 to 4 month treatment plan. During that time, my dad, who was working full time at that point, he would get out there. On my days, I was in treatment probably Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day. On the days that I didn't have full routes built up then, so it was just random customers here and there, he would take time off from work and get out there in the truck and go scoop those yards and clean up the yards. So thanks, Dad. So that was a huge obstacle, but just looking back on it, it was a blessing in disguise that it happened then versus 2 years from now, or when you had a huge customer base built up, and maybe you don't have any employees or much help, because he wouldn't have been able to do it at that point. So I would say that was my biggest obstacle. When I was in treatment, I was always working on the business. I was working on the sign-up forms that I would build on the website. So when I could, the first few treatments were, or first couple cycles were not terrible, but then the third and fourth ones were pretty difficult. So when I was in there, I was spending my time wisely, trying to really set myself up for success. So when I came out on the other side, it was all about the mindset. You know, it's like, how am I going to navigate this? Even though they thought I was crazy to get into this business, like they did back me up. You know, my dad was out there doing this, and I was like, I'm not gonna let them down. You know, I'm gonna show my grandma, when she first found out what I was doing, why don't you just go get a job at Apple? Like, I mean, she poo-pooed it, like, you know, for lack of a better term, big time. And I just, you know, I knew I was determined to make this thing work. And a lot of people were just like, you're crazy for doing this, but like, really? And
now you're franchising it.
6 years later, so exactly. So we just started working with the franchise development company about 5 months ago, and we're still working out. We're still in the process of the development right now, but that's where we're taking this now. So we built up a really strong, solid market out here in the Bay Area, and you know, people are always asking, "Is this a franchise? This is great? You know, you guys should franchise this." I was like, you know, I'm thinking about it, but I remember even back early on, where I was, you know, with the roadmap of it, I was like, you know, eventually I'm gonna get off the routes and out of the field, and I'm gonna just be running the business, and that happened. And then certain goals always were, you know, attained, and things happened, milestones were achieved, and I remember back then I was like, this is something that we could franchise it one day, and now we're here, and we're gonna start offering franchise Bombs Away franchises, you know, nationwide, and I'm super excited about that. We just got the green light to start selling them in California and 28 other states.
300.
Yeah, 300.
You said 300.
300 recurring clients.
Yeah.
And a lot of those are from, some are bi-weekly, maybe 5 or less, up to 6 times a week. With all the recurring clients that we do, we have customers that have 1 dog, and we visit them 3 times a week. We have customers that have 5 dogs that we're there once a week. So we're all over the place as far as like our stop. We're doing hundreds of stops per week, probably Monday through Saturday. Then we have a lot of one-time clients too that just call us for one-time cleanups. Yeah, exactly. Or they just haven't been keeping up with the yard for you know, a certain length of time, and maybe someone got injured or they broke their foot and they can't do it. They call us, so we get a lot of that too. Our lowest package is about $80 a month. That's bi-weekly for 1 dog, and it goes up to, we have some customers, some residential customers that are paying us over $700 a month to come out, big lots, 6 times. I think we come out 6 times a week. Yeah, and then so everything, and most everything is falls, you know, in the middle or the lower part of that range. I would say anywhere from $100 to $300 a month is pretty common. And we do offer a lot of additional services too, like yard deodorizing and sanitizing, and we do pressure washing now, and things to kind of close the loop on poop. So the whole problem that poop brings along with it, we have a solution for the pollution. We just hit about 30,000 sales per month. Yeah, so we just hit that marker. So I think we're about 330K a year.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and so the year before picking up dog poop.
Yeah.
Yes, who would thought? So, and I know, and we're in a market that has great weather, so people will, a lot of times people are just like, why am I gonna hire someone? I'll just go out and do it myself, you know, but there's a lot of other reasons why they might be just the yuck factor, self-admitted laziness, or whatever the reason is, injury, disability, they're older. But in other markets, these companies have grown so much faster too because of the weather, like cold, hot conditions, climates out there, where people just, they're not gonna go outside, they'll hire someone. I know some people in other states who started around the same time as I have, and they've doubled they have double the client base that I have, the recurring client base. Yeah, our revenue is strong over here though, just because of the market we're in. But it's an industry that is just continuing to grow every year over year. So, and people are just starting to kind of figure out, wow, this is something that's really useful and I don't want to do. So it ranges from genius on one end. So wow, that's genius. Like you get that off it, and then you like other people think you're just an absolute fool. So there's everything in the middle, in between. It really depends on what stage I was at too. When I was starting the business, you're crazy. What are you doing? And then now it's like where we're at now. Oh, that's genius. That's great. And look what you're doing with it. Your plans for the future. But a lot of people that don't know that, maybe they still you get on one side of it, it's you're genius or you're kind of a complete idiot for starting something like this, and everything in between. We get looks where all of our vehicles are wrapped, and we get people are snapping photos with their
but that's
phones.
what you want, right?
Yeah, share it, post it, share it, tag us. We'll send you a free T-shirt.
Yeah. There you go.
So when I first started, I was just telling friends and family about it. I was in the fitness industry before this, like 30 or 40 pounds lighter too. And it was all it was just me doing, training clients one-on-one, doing boot camps and things like that. And I didn't have any employees or anything. It was just myself. So all my clients came in for referral through word of mouth. So this was a whole new ballgame. I was trying to figure out how am I going to bring in customers, what I need to do. Started just talking about it. That didn't work so well. Tried creating a Yelp account, doing things like that. Going down to the dog park, just doing anything, and a lot of networking actually. I'm going into vet offices and other dog related services, groomers, and just getting out there and networking. It slowly started taking off a little bit, but then I found Google ads, and that was like the that was the magic. Yeah, that was the gas around to the fire. So as soon as I threw up the Google ads, that's when customers really started coming in, and that was probably in the first after the first 6 weeks of just getting out there and networking with other individuals. But I still continued to do that, even when the Google ads were on and there were customers were coming in. You have to always be out there networking, get out there, get your name out there as much as possible, and ultimately it'll pay off. The Google ads, don't forget that, and the truck wraps.
Yeah.
Not a whole heck of a lot. It mostly just goes to Google. And our truck wraps get a lot of, bring in a good amount of customers as well. I would say at this point, most of my money goes into payroll. So I'm at a point where I pretty much am hands off on the routes for the most part. And that has allowed me, putting that money, I could be back on the routes, save a lot of money on payroll, but that's allowed me to start to grow the business, getting into franchising, and actually start another company as well. So it's given me a lot of time back. So I'm basically in essence paying for my time.
That's good.
So yeah.
That's good.
6 employees.
And how long did it take you to get from you to 6?
So I started the business in November of 2016, and I didn't hire my first employee until December of 2018.
Okay.
So about two years, I was building up the routes, and I was working out in the field. I was working in the field, in the office, you name it, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. There was no days off. There still isn't. But I was doing, 20 to 25 stops a day, 6 days a week. And I was getting to a point where I was just completely burnt out and decided to make my first hire. That was probably the scariest thing I ever did. Just it was uncharted territory. Yeah, I had the way of doing it, and I was doing it my way, and thank God I did it. Yeah. Then after you hire the first one, everything. Once you do it the first time, everything just gets easier.
Right.
And now it's simple.
What's helped you with that? You got systemized. You got a system in place.
Yeah, we have systems in place. We use Indeed to hire for the most part. We've had really good luck with that. Tried Facebook and tried some other platforms, and hasn't worked so well for us, but Indeed works well. My operations manager, usually I interview the candidates or the applicants, and then once I hire them, my operations manager usually goes out and trains them. Some people get it on the first day and then they hit the ground running. Other people might need a little more time, and that's okay because we're there for them. We as much training and support as they need. But yeah, we have systems in place, and things run pretty smoothly with how we've got things set up and operate. A lot of times I would love to read more books. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I love the Ed Milet show. So personal development, self-development. He's a good one. There's Entrepreneurs on Fire with John Lee Dumas. That's another good one. And I've been starting to get into a lot of franchising podcasts now for obvious reasons. Eric Van Horn has a Facebook group and a podcast out there called Franchise Secrets, which is pretty good. And there's some other ones too. Books. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is a good one. Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think anyone in business should read that book. That's a really good one. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, or I probably got the author's name wrong on that. Anyone just starting out in business should read that book. It's very easy. It's simple. The concepts are simple, but it just tells you like how to work on your business rather than work in your business. Yeah, and how to be able to step away from it and duplicate it and systematize it. We're all online, so usually it's Google or our truck wraps or referrals. So we get quite a bit of current customers that refer us out to their friends that own dogs, and during the pandemic, even we grew during the pandemic. We never slowed down just because more people were getting dogs at that point. So. And it's
more dogs,
one of the side effects of dog owners.
More poop, more money.
I thought people were going to cancel the service because now they're at home, they have more time, and it's just one of those things they don't want to deal with. So, but to get back to the question there, it's all online, and then our vehicle wraps, I would say. It really isn't a huge thing, but I'm trying to. Me personally, have trouble staying active on social media with our business accounts. Kind of just post on there once in a while, but I have actually. We're gonna start working with a company to create and post on our social media pages. So, but it really hasn't been a huge driver for us. I've tried Facebook ads too. That's another thing. I've spent a good amount of time and money in testing certain marketing methods, and Facebook or Instagram ad, online or social media ads hasn't really helped as much. It really hasn't done much. So that's why I kind of focused on, Google, or Yelp has been a big driver too, actually.
Sure.
It does. It helps with your search engine rankings. It helps with, I noticed just by posting more on Facebook, you actually, Bombs Away shows up when you search pooper scooper services. Now it's like where it didn't before. So yeah, don't forget about it. I know some other people that own businesses in other markets, the same business, and it's all about Facebook for them, or Instagram. So it really depends on the market, I think. But for us, First of all, patience. Patience is the key. Don't give up, because I actually had this business on the market on bizbuysell.com. I was going to sell it about a year and a half ago, and I had some interested buyers, and I just, the offers weren't really what I wanted, and there was a part of me that just was in the back of my head. I was like, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to do this? Stick with it. There was another opportunity that came up, and anyway, I backed out of the sale. Long story short, backed out. So it's don't give up. And look where we're at now. Now we're going to start franchising.
Are you glad you did?
Yes, we improved a lot of the systems. We introduced some new technology. We really streamlined things over after I backed out of the sale of it, and I decided not to sell it, and that really set us up to move forward into franchising, again with the end in mind. So that's one thing that I had trouble with. If you're thinking about that fancy CRM or something that is going to help the business, but you're looking at it and I'm just not ready for it, and do it, go for it, and then set goals so you hit that mark. Eventually, so you will be ready for it. That's one thing I wish I would have really learned early on, because I was kind of taking I'm not ready for this yet, and I would take another route, and then once you've got 50 customers on there, then you have to export or import all those customers to a new system. Like if it's technology based, if it's your CRM or your business management software, start with begin with the end in mind. That goes with every aspect of business, and your mindset. Things are never going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. That goes back to patience. And just don't give up. I see see us with a nationwide presence, see the brand growing nationwide. I don't know if we'll be at, hundreds of units at that point, but the focus is going to be on growth through franchising and really serving our franchise partners and just getting the name out there and hopefully becoming a household name in the pet industry, the pet cleanup industry.
Yeah.
So that's my focus 5 years from now, and still growing the company unit here too, our local company-owned office in the Bay Area. So we'll continue to grow that as well.
Ryan, thanks for your time. Where can people find you guys?
You can find us online. Our website is getbombsaway.com. That's GETBOMBSAWAY.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. But I would say just go to Google and search Bombs Away and we'll pop right up.
Thanks for your time, Ryan.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.